everyone, and welcome back to another B and Peter show where we put the fun back into English learning. How are you doing today, Peter?
Hello, hello, good
Oh my
morning.
God. Aha, wow. Someone didn't take the happy pill this morning. What's happening, Peter? Why do you sound so down?
Usually I take my happy pills at least after 8 a.m. and you've been so
Ah,
kind to wake me up before 7, which is terrible, Beaton, terrible.
what?
I'm not a
What's
morning
wrong?
person.
Okay, as far as I know, you live in Brazil and there has been no time change for you, right? Am I
Uh,
correct? There's no time change. Yeah. So
no,
I don't, I cannot accept any
what time
excuses
change?
from you.
Time change.
It's daylight saving time. Daylight
Daylight
saving
saving.
time. So
Ah,
yeah, in Europe at the moment, today is the day that they've changed their clock. So they've reset it an
mm.
hour earlier to what they normally do. So they're waking up an hour earlier, and yeah, it's it's
But
quite
are
an
you waking
adjustment.
up? Are you waking up an hour earlier if you're setting back the clock, Beaton? That's the
Oh
question.
my God, what is what? Are you going to become all theoretical with me right now? What do you mean? You are waking up an hour earlier because imagine
From whose
waking up
perspective?
from your body's perspective. It's like
Ah,
you, yeah, it's like imagine being all out of sorts. Do you know what out of sorts means? Like how you're feeling today is because you're not a morning person.
when baby wakes
And
me up, I feel out of sorts.
yes, out of sorts to not feel good about yourself, right? So a lot of people in Europe today are out of sorts because it's like your biological clock, right, has been reset. Do you know what I mean
Thank
by
you.
your biological clock?
Thanks for the news flash, Mrs. Biology. Did you study biology at school, Bibi? Are you into
Yes,
biology?
I actually did study biology, but believe it or not, Peter, this is common knowledge, right?
It
You
is?
don't need to be a rocket scientist to know what daylight saving.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
definitely not a
So,
rocket science at 7 a.m. in the morning.
oh my God, can you brighten up? Can you just brighten up? Like just for the next 10 minutes. How's it?
Oh,
Can you do this?
oh, can you just give me a pick me up, pick me up, something just to bring me up? Because I didn't even have a coffee yet, Bibi. You got me before my coffee.
Oh
My coffee
my
comes at
goodness.
7:10 a.m. And you got me into this
Uh-huh.
podcast at 7. So actually, you made me miss my coffee time, and that completely screws up my day.
Oh, pity pizza. I'm so sorry. What are we going to do with you now? Are you just going to moan and groan the entire podcast? Are you going to put
Well,
on your big boy pants and get with it now?
at least send me a box of chocolates, baby, just to make it.
Come on, we're talking about daylight saving today. Come on, let's go. Tell me, what
Uh,
do you think about this entire daylight saving? Like for me, honestly, it doesn't make sense to me. Thank God I live in South Africa. What I have to say, it is a pain for me because I teach in Europe and now I have to constantly check. Now the time has changed for me again. And for me, I just kind of think like, how is it for people in Europe? Because now you have to reset your clock, you reset your schedule. It sounds kind of something that's really, I don't know, frustrating.
yeah, to be as far as I remember, there's a guy called George Hudson, like I think the model, what do you call it, entomologist, insect
Like,
guy.
is it?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and he's actually the guy that I think he proposed the whole after hours daylight. And then there's another guy called William Willett, which really liked his golf, and he wanted to find out how to extend his golfing hours, around that.
Are you joking right now?
And and I'm completely serious. So he was like, "Well, I want to spend more time playing golf, and I can only play golf during the day. So what can I
Uh-huh.
do?" And that's when he's like, "Okay, I'm going to create a DST. I'm going to create a law proposal to have people wake up earlier."
Okay, so you're trying to say the entire Europe DST is based on an insect guy and a golfer. Wow, this is intriguing.
Sounds like it. Sounds like it. I mean, we had laws passed through, or worse, haven't we? But as far as I remember, it really got popular through the First World War because I think the British wanted to save on coal, and obviously, changing daylight saving time means that you consume less light, and they had to conserve coal, and that's when it really got popular.
I don't know. What happens with you? Does the light affect the time that you nod off? Nod off means like start feeling very tired and sleepy for a certain reason. Does the light affect it? Nodding off. Nodding off means to sleep away for like just like close your eyes, like you don't know why, but you just like start getting tired.
Having a quick shut.
What do you mean?
Shut eye.
What do you mean?
I heard the Americans say it.
Shut eye, yes.
Shut eye. Have some shut eye.
The Spaniards say siesta. But a nod off is like basically to nod off is something done involuntarily. So you just nod off because you're suddenly tired.
But don't confuse it with the phrasal verb knock off. That might create some issues.
Peter, this is an educational podcast, not OnlyFans. So please keep it clean. All right.
I'm just helping the listeners to make sure they don't.
I don't think you're helping anyone. And I think it's knocked up, not knock off. Right. And I don't think it's very appropriate. Come on.
Knock off is casual. Knock up means you get some pregnant.
So. Okay. Wow. Well, back to daylight saving. Wait.
I promise I won't be knocking up anyone.
Okay. Wow. Right. Okay. So
getting back to the DST. So I think people are still doing it today because of mostly of electricity consumption. But I think that there's also kind of health issues because I mean, if you're working from dusk to dawn and you don't have any solar, exposition or exposure, I mean that's not too great, right?
What do you mean?
And you have this whole thing with what you have something called circadian rhythms. Have you heard of circadian rhythms?
No, Peter, come on. You're saying it's 7 o'clock in the morning and you're coming up with these circadian rhythms. It's like afternoon for me here. And I'm still feels like it's going to take a few minutes for me to wrap my head around what you say.
Well, circadian rhythms is like your biological clock. It's like a natural oscillation.
Why didn't you just say that? When I said biological clock, why didn't you just say, well, it's a biological clock? Why did you have to use the word like circadian?
Because I wasn't warmed up yet. I was just kind of idling still. Now I'm already in third gear.
Are you awake now? Really?
Yeah, I'm in third gear. So okay.
It's like almost time to wrap up the podcast, and now you want to be awake. Yeah.
Well, you woke me up. And now I have to stay awake, even if I want to drift off into a deep sleep. I mean, I prefer sleeping in.
You can nod off for a little while. You can nod off for a while, yeah. Well, you see, the thing with this is that it's such an interesting topic, especially for our European listeners. And I'd like for them to engage with us on this. Like, let us know in the comments after this podcast. Do you find that the daylight saving time change is unnecessary? Do you agree with it? Do you not agree with it? Would you like to just have a standard time all year round? Let us know. Yeah. And do you feel our own thoughts?
And the same issue, and another interesting issue, maybe that we can also discuss is remote work. With remote work, is daylight saving still relevant? Because now people are more flexible, not going to the office.
But that's what I'm saying. Is it still something relevant? Like, okay, I understand if it was relevant in the industrial age, but now we're in the information age, right? Daylight saving doesn't really need to exist. Like, I live in South Africa, you live in Brazil. We have no time of daylight saving structure, and it's working well for us, But the only
we have to
difference.
we have to take in consideration that we live in very sunny countries, BB. And I think living in a country where you have very reduced days of sun, I do think it probably gets to you, because I think we're sun spoiled, so to speak.
Mhm. I don't know, but even with that, like imagine your biological clock. Imagine, like I've seen this with a lot of my students on the first week after the time change, right? Especially now where the clock is going back an hour, right? So they're waking up an hour earlier than what they were waking up. Everyone's a lot very out of sorts. Like your biological clock needs to readjust. You know, I don't know. Is it?
But if we're
Doesn't make sense.
flexible, baby, if you live on flexible schedules, I mean, doesn't your biological clock adapt to a flexible schedule? Because we're not kind of living anymore the 9 to 5 era.
You may have a point, but I don't know. Let's leave it up to the listeners to tell us. Yeah. So please let us know in the comments with the time change this week. Do you feel a bit more tired, a bit more, I don't know, out of sorts, a bit more like Peter, where he hasn't taken his happy pill? Yeah. I hope you got. Have you taken a happy pill now, Peter? Are you better?
Not yet. Well,
Oh,
sometimes you are my happy pill. You're my happy pill. It's a
are
bitter
you a
pill, but
happy pill? Oh, I knew it was too good to be true. I knew there was something coming. Like I knew it. I knew there was never going to be a compliment. It's always like,
well,
okay, a compliment.
a happy pill is not always sweet, is it, baby? It can have a
It's
bitter
supposed to make
happy
you the
pill.
happy pill. No, a happy pill is supposed to make you happy. Yeah.
Well,
So maybe you
well,
should
medicine
overdose on some happy pills.
medicine that's good for you is not always sweet. Sometimes the most bitter is the best.
Uh, okay, if you say so. Well, that's a wrap from us today. Please do engage with us in the comments. We love hearing from you guys, whether it's Spotify, on LinkedIn, whatever platform you're listening to us on. Please engage with us. Tell us what you liked, what you didn't like about pizza. Yeah, just let us
And
know.
baby.
Whatever you
Sorry for being grumpy, guys. It's Bibi's fault, and I promise you, she
Uh,
won't wake me up that early again. All right, Bibi?
Okay, you
Pinky
can go nod
promise.
off. You can go nod off again. Stop complaining and go drift off into sleep again. How's
All right, I
that?
will. Okay.
Okay.
Bye bye. I'm
Bye.
out.